Hello YouTube and newsletter subscribers, this is Terrell from Teller3.com. Today is September 10th, 2015. Black Star Update Report, volume number 37 of the newsletter. And what we're looking at for this week, this is what happened last week, week 32. Right here, obviously a bit earlier in the calendar year, but the same week of the orbit cycle. See, we had one 6 magnitude earthquake, 23 fives, 216 of the 2.54 magnitude indicator quakes. Come down to this week, week 32. You have one 6 magnitude earthquake, 24 the 5 magnitude earthquake, up from 23 last year. Here's the anomaly right here. Last year we had, what was it, 216? Right here, 2 weeks after outside orbit position, we had 216. Look at the steady uptick. And this is where I can pat myself on the back just a little bit. This prediction was made over a year ago because we got the outside orbit position last year in the third week. See right here, the third week, fourth week of July 2014. See the O here? Those values. And so that tells you 2 to 3 weeks later for the next year. So we already knew this was going to happen. But now look at these values. 2.54 magnitude earthquakes. Look where we got to our low, which I thought would be around 180. Turned out to be 182. And look at right here where we're at. This is the predicted date, August the 15th. Then look at what happens afterwards. We go from 192 to 233 to 266 to 327. All the time, see these L's, this lull period we went through, all the time we're going on the downward trajectory. We had the jolt value here for week 25, exactly like we had last year for week 25. There's definitely symmetry here. There's definitely the pattern. This big giant bad boy came out of nowhere. Have to admit, 533. That's going to be the high value for the year during our lull period. Something strange happening. And you're going to see more and more stories about the magma intrusion into Yellowstone. But in writing my commentary for this week, then there's a video here, the Dutch Sense video. And he shows where there were no significant earthquakes in the California quake swarm area for almost 48 hours. That hasn't happened since this investigation started. So there's a little example on what happens with tsunamis. Remember that I'm projecting, I've been warning people about these tsunamis. They are subterranean. This is not a normal water earthquake caused event that I'm talking about here. What I'm talking about is the depth of these earthquakes since Nepal, the 677 kilometer deep in the Japan quake swarm area. Look at the depth of these earthquakes. It is ridiculous what's going on there. And that pressure is shifting over towards Europe. And then through Japan, now the Kamchatka swarm area has just proliferated. This has become gigantic. Remember when this was a dead area and we had the Alaskan swarm area and then we had the California quake swarm area? Well, look at the depths now. There's something really crazy going on here. And what this is an underground, under earth crust wave. That's a tectonic tsunami. A tectonic volcanic tsunami. These deeper earthquakes cause upwelling of the deeper magma that rises and expands. The percolator effect that I keep talking about, the upwelling, right? Then in the south, remember I said that there's going to be a connection, there's going to be a connector. Here's just one singular event, but this is what I'm expecting right across the bottom edge of the Pacific Ocean Ring of Fire. And the deeper earthquakes have already struck South America, which causes the volcanic eruptions. Because the deeper you go inside the earth, when that magma gets disturbed, the deeper you go, the more pressurized it is. And when that fissure is created, the earthquake event, the rising of the magma, then you get the volcanism. Well, this southern wave is coming around. This northern wave is coming around. The fact, and you can see this quake swarm area. But there is a period where there were no earthquakes for 2 days, almost 2 days, from this area right here. And to me, if you look at the 2004 tsunami that took place in Thailand, then you notice that the people are just unaware that there's been the earthquake event. They're unaware when the water's receding. They're going, hey, look, the water's going out. Yeah, well, this could very well be what's happened right here. Although you can see the swarm here, we're looking over the last week. That long period, 2 days, not to have a quake in this area, to me, is an indicator of the pulling back of the magma. That is, and that these, just imagine this is a wave coming around, this is a wave coming around, deep quakes, and these in the California area are still flat. This pressure is going here. This pressure is coming here from around the north and from the south. And as these waves are coming in, now we are in the uptick period. Then I think we're seeing the slowing down of activity. That's the calm before the storm. So what you're supposed to be doing if you live anywhere near this area, if you can be affected by a gigantic event that can happen in this area, that just about everybody on the Pacific Ocean Ring of Fire, around the whole world here, but particularly this part of the United States, right here, you need to watch for these earthquake events to get deeper. When they do, Yellowstone is going to be affected. The adjacent calderas, this seemingly stable environment that's been stable for a very, very long time, is going to become extremely unstable. Extremely unstable. And this is not the area that you want to be in right here. So just this is fourth or fifth or sixth time that I'm warning you guys about this right here. But we've been in the lull period, so I didn't expect that it's going to come. Now, there's stories in here about China and where they're sending their ships and these earthquake events, as if there is something being staged through this area. Much, much more news about these shifting pressures from the north side of the Pacific Ocean Ring of Fire than around the south. Definitely. But geopolitically, Russia, China, you see this is the direction from which it's coming from. If you Google Grim Report, Russia, warning, just Google it. Read the article. Then they're talking about the magnetic anomalies that's taking place over here from the separation of the tectonic plates that are pushed against the American craton. Multiple plates pushed together, held there by pressure. Since Solomon Island, the tectonic plate breakage, the cracking up of the tectonic plates in this region, the breaking of the tectonic plate in this region means that all these tectonic plates that are fitted together, like puzzle pieces, when you have extra space over here, they're still floating on top of hot magma. So the cascade moved this way very, very gradually, very slowly, just enough to open up the cracks in here, and that exposes the deeper parts of Earth core to the surface that can be seen magnetically from satellites. Russia has warned us about it. We're seeing the uptick in activity, and the lull comes before the storm. And now I think we've just seen this lull in this area, and this is where, right here, baby, right here. This is really troubling. I'm on the other side of the country, but eventually, this is what happens. The deeper earthquakes come first, and then the percolator effect fills the magma chamber, Yellowstone magma chamber, in the pressure, building up, the calderas in the region, everything bulges, and then it breaks. And when it breaks, insufficient support, the entire region begins to collapse. And then you have a tectonic change across the entire United States, so that the New Madrid, after Yellowstone pops, the New Madrid has a giant event. The entire Mississippi River Basin right here begins to liquefy, and then you have a reduction in pressure that's holding the plates together out here along the Appalachians, and you have a couple of hundred nuclear power plants where I'm making this circle here. This is destruction for the United States. This is where the focus is, right here on the United States. I expect the United States to be cut in two. I expect it to be converted from a continent into a series of coastland areas. The coastland area is about to triple in the United States, maybe quadruple in the United States because of the inland sea that's created out here out west where you see this activity, and then the giant gulf that's created from the Great Lakes all the way to the, if you just Google the Scallion map of the future, Navy map of the future, either one of them, you're going to see what I'm talking about. That's how I see things shaking out for the United States. And we are in the quiet before the storm right now. 6 new volcanic eruptions this week and 3 active on U.S. soil. And that transition is the pressure coming from Kamchatka side on the north over into the Americas. So that subterranean pressure, well, the pressure's got to go somewhere. And where we have the volcanoes up there, the relief pressure mechanisms, that's what's being utilized. Offshore volcanoes off Oregon, if they're not being utilized now, they're about to be, because that pressure is definitely going to be kicking up. Project heroes for the week include Patrick and Army Surplus, that's from North Carolina, and then Pamela, who supported the research by subscribing to my newsletter at Terralo3.com. Just like Clifford did last week, I just can't get over Clifford is the only person for the week 31 for the entire 5-year period. He's the only person that has a subscription within that period. Makes him kind of special in my book. And then I wanted to apologize for last week. I moved my trailer in the trailer hood here, and I'm thinking, it's not going to be that tough. 100-degree heat changed it, and I guess I'm not. Bonnie made the comment, well, you must not be as in shape, whatever. I tend to overdo things. It's a part of my personality, and I got out there and tried to do too much. And actually doing some work now yesterday, but I did stop earlier in the day, and I'm good to go for this afternoon for the radio show with Deacon John over at Liberation Nation. You can get information on that on the final page. I want to show you where we are in the solar system. Black star is going to be relative to the sun right around in this area. When you look straight down, you can see Earth is beyond that 90-degree angle. Now we are, see, the low period is through here when we're racing away from the black star. As we come through here, then it's coming towards us. It's coming around this way, and then it's coming towards us. We're in its headlights right now. That's why Earth core is heating up, because the magnetic portal connection between the black star and the Earth is shrinking. As it does that, the black star getting closer to the sun, its electromagnetic potential is also increasing. As it's getting closer to the Earth, then the Earth is in the headlights, then Earth receives added doses of electromagnetism. So that's why we're in the uptick period. Once we come behind the sun relative to the black star, it's going to be just about here. I see it's here in November, but for some reason our event happens 3 weeks late. It's not going to happen to around here, till we're on the back side of the sun to Saturn. It's going to be right around the 1st or the 2nd. Black star is still going to be to the right of Saturn in the orbit diagram. Why it happens 2 or 3 weeks late, like I've said in years past, I don't know why it happens, but now that we see the pattern, we may as well make the prediction for being 2 to 3 weeks too late after the backside alignment event. Leading up to this event, you're going to see a rash of X-class solar flares off the eastern limb. Right now, the chances are less than 1%. And that's because we're at outside orbital position. We're over here where the magnetic portal connection, these 3 are making a triangle. Little chance of at outside orbital position on both ends of the solar system. You're not going to have solar flares. You have the solar flares just after we come into alignment, and I predicted them right on schedule this year, and they're going to happen just before the alignment on this side. That's going to be going into December the 1st. The month of November is going to be having the solar flares just like the end of May and the beginning of June for the same cycle. That's what's going to happen. But right now we're out of the woods as far as that stuff go. Then here's an article here about how the sun is acting weird. I saw that the X-ray flux values are flatlining again. Right? Remember, we've been talking a long time about the sun reaching solar maximum. Ain't happened. Now it's acting weird and it's flatlining. The sunspot values almost zero. X-ray output, radio wave output, almost zero. I mean, I shouldn't say almost zero, but where it's supposed to be near a solar maximum, it has flatlined. Why is that? Because the magnetic portal connection is getting shorter between the 2 stars. The black star is siphoning electromagnetism off the sun. That's what's going on here. There's like 3 radio shows right above my radio section here. Project Camelot, stuff like that. And I will be on with Deacon John here in just a few hours, and then that recent show will go right here under 10 under 910. See you guys next time.